Hi everyone. So I thought it was a good time to check in with our big picture oracle cards and our Lenormand cards. Sometimes they give us a little bit of different energy. Sometimes it's more specific day-to-day things as opposed to the spiritual messages that tarot gives us. And sometimes the Lenormand and the big picture oracle also give us very spiritual messages. But I like to test out all the different energies and see where we are. So we're going to start with a 5-line spread for the Lenormand and then maybe clarify it with a 5-line spread from the big picture oracle. So we're starting out with the tree, the moon, the dog, the garden, and the woman. So with the dog being right in the middle of our spread, this is most certainly talking about a friend, someone who's very loyal to you, someone who you are loyal to, someone who you have a lot of trust in. That is what the dog in the Lenormand system represents. So if we look at the tree and the moon together, this is a very intuitive combination in the sense that the moon is always about recognizing things with your intuition. And the tree can be about our family history, can be about our ancestral line. So this is really telling me that you probably come from a long line of intuitive people, or perhaps that you're really intuiting and talking to your ancestors at this time. I also saw the stars at the bottom of the deck here, and the stars in the Lenormand system is about being spiritually guided, knowing which way to go because you're being guided. So it does feel like you are being intuitively guided, probably by your spirit guides, by your ancestors, and it looks like you're heading towards a woman who is in a bigger environment. So someone who you might not know all that well yet. We're seeing that there is a dog here, a friend here, but it might be someone who is outside of your inner circle at this time. This might be someone who you are acquaintances with, but you're being intuitively guided towards that person. So if there's someone that you don't know that well, someone you're feeling called to get to know, and you're having intuitive nudges about that person, this is a really good time to follow those instincts and to follow perhaps this network or something. It looks like it could have to do perhaps with a network because the garden is here. Sometimes the dog can represent loyal customers. So if you're starting a business, for example, or trying to get people onto your platform, it looks like you're being intuitively guided towards them through some kind of a community that's going to lead you to this woman slash person. It doesn't necessarily have to be a female person, but the female card did show up here, so I have to consider that. So it does look like you're being guided towards, you're being intuitively nudged, perhaps by your ancestors, towards this person, towards this community. With the garden and the sun and the moon coming in together, this is telling me this is a very intuitive community. So this could be a group of people who are highly spiritual that you're being drawn to. Perhaps they have gifts of their own that you're being drawn to. Perhaps they are recognized for those things. The moon in the garden is a combination too of perhaps a high profile network, people who are recognized for the things that they do. So it does feel like there is some of this coming through here. And then with the woman and the trees coming together, it could be that there is a female ancestor who's guiding you at this time. So if there is someone on the other side who is trying to guide you towards this perhaps platform, perhaps customer base, perhaps friendship group, network, whatever this is for you, a broader community, then this ancestor is guiding you towards that. And this may be a female ancestor who was doing that. But let's see if we can get a little more clarification from the big picture oracle. See if we can get a little more energy details. So there's the broom, the bed, Cupid, there's the moon again. So we're getting the moon twice. And there's the clover. So, oh, and then underneath this deck is the dog. So we're getting the dog twice too. So this is very clearly someone who's a friend that you are probably being guided towards, someone who you're trying to get to know better, someone who might be an acquaintance at this point who you don't know as well as you would like to. That's what this feels like. You're being guided towards this person who is in your greater community, but you don't really know them all that well. But with the big picture oracle with Cupid coming in the middle here under dog, this is really telling me that whoever this person is, whoever this dog person is, who is perhaps in your friend group, acquaintance group, it looks like it could be evolving. There's the potential here for it to evolve into something else, into more than just a friendship, which might be why you're being guided towards that. So this combination of the broom and the bed coming together, this can be unhealthy patterns, unhealthy habits. So what I'm seeing here is with the Cupid being the center card of this 5 line spread, that perhaps your past behaviors in relationships have been more of the toxic kind, that perhaps you're caught in karmic loops that are unhealthy and you keep repeating these cycles over and over and over again. Even though the red flags are there, that you tended to ignore those red flags for whatever your own individual reasons are. We all go through those types. We all go through those soul contracts before we finally realize that we need to break from them. And that's why I feel like there's this intuitive guidance from your ancestors coming through that are trying to guide you out of perhaps a toxic relationship, a toxic situation, and you're headed towards something more intuitive and more opportunistic, more of an opportunity, something more lucky, something the clover is saying there's an opportunity right in front of you that you don't want to miss because you're ignoring your intuition. So in other words, what this is really telling me is this: you're probably stuck right now or feeling stuck in a very toxic love relationship, one that you've been repeating patterns with. Your ancestors are here to say, listen to your intuition, because there's another person here that you're being guided to, someone in your greater community, someone who you might only be acquaintances with right now, but the potential for love for this person is there. And if you're blocking out your intuition, then you're not going to be able to get that stroke of luck in meeting that person. So we have the tree with the broom here, and this is really saying that this loop that you're in, it's really affecting you. It's affecting perhaps your physical health, perhaps your mental health, perhaps your spiritual health, perhaps your financial health. But there is something here, or at least in your recent past, something that your ancestors are urging you to release, that it's just not been good for you, and that to really use your intuition and stop ignoring all the red flags. And this is a similar combination with the moon and the bed. This can be a combination of just rest, but it could be disrupted sleep. It could be disrupted sleep patterns because this person that you're dealing with in this toxic situation is interfering too much with your peace. And that your ancestors, again, are guiding you to use your intuition to see that this situation is unhealthy. But then as we move down the line, we see the dog coming in with Cupid, which we've already touched on, that there's someone out there in this energy in your greater community who has this potential to be a love interest for you, someone who might already be interested in you, someone who's already drawn to you, that your ancestors are trying to draw you towards them, because this potential for it to turn into something greater than a friendship is here in the cards. And again, we're getting this combination of the garden and the moon, which this can be, again, a very intuitive type of community, type of environment, or this can be an environment that's out in the public eye, that's seen and recognized by others. So for example, if you are a high profile person, you might be about to meet another high profile person or something like that, but make it make sense for your own situation. because then we have the woman with the clover. So this represents the person who I think you're about to meet, and that you're going to have this lucky chance, this lucky break, this lucky meeting this person's going to cross your path. So whether this is someone who you can network with, or if it is a love interest that you're about to bump into, and again, don't make the gender the gender. It just represents a person. So if your love interest is a woman, then great. But if your love interest is a man, then this will represent that person for you, because this is general. So, so of course the gender must stay general. So, but that's really what's coming through here, is this idea of releasing the toxicity, listening to your intuition, listening to your guides, and really trying to intuit what has been unhealthy about this. And don't block your lucky breaks because you're too busy being stuck in toxic patterns. Your ancestors really want you to see how this is affecting you, and to allow yourself to be drawn to this new energy that wants to come through. And that also understanding what's bad for you and what's ready to be released. And especially in love interests, because we did have Cupid show up right here in the middle, especially when it comes to love interests, to learn to follow your intuition and know when you're stuck in a karmic loop and when it's a good time to leave, so that you can enter a more broad community and perhaps get your lucky break one way or the other in that way. So that is your Lenormand and Big Picture Oracle reading. Please let me know how this was resonant for you, and we will do this again sometime. Thanks, everybody. Bye.